Do you want to add floodlights to your house or garage but don't know how to do it? Well, I'm going to show you guys the easiest way how to install floodlights around your house, so let's get started. So before we get started, I want to show you guys the material and tools that you will need to get this project done. When it comes to the material, you obviously want to start off with your floodlight right here. I chose the Envision LED floodlight. You can choose any floodlight, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, Amazon. I've never used these floodlights before, however, I got these for a very good price, so I'm gonna give them a shot. The nice thing with this LED is that they are very high lumens, they're 4200 lumens, and the other nice thing is that they're dimmable, which I wanna make sure that they're dimmable in case I don't want them super bright. The next thing you'll need to make this light adapt is you'll need a white cover plate. As you can see here, the light is out of the box right here, and this white cover plate screws right into the bottom of this light, allowing it to adapt to the box that it needs to go into. Next thing you'll need is a plastic box. Doesn't matter if it's plastic, metal, whatever works for you. I like these boxes because there's screws inside, so it's really easy to mount on old work, which is what we're doing. Another box you'll need is a regular single gang switch box, or whatever size switch box you need. I'm just putting one switch in, so I just need a single gang. On the topic of a switch box, you'll need a switch. I like these Kasa smart switches. I like to be able to control this from my phone and set timers and such, and it allows me to be able to control this light from anywhere. You also need a handful of wire nuts. Get at least 10, even 20. They sell bags of them at Home Depot, Lowe's, and they're cheap. Last but not least is wire. This is 12 gauge wire. You may need 14 gauge wire depending on what circuits you have. If you have a 20 amp breaker, it needs a 12 gauge wire. If you have a 15 amp breaker, it needs a 14 gauge wire. Just make sure you check your local codes and make sure you're doing it right. And don't let me forget, you need wire staples for that wire to secure it. Moving on to tools, you need basic hand tools you'll have most likely around your house. First thing's a drill. Next thing is a hammer. Make sure you have a headlamp because where you're working is most likely going to be dark. Make sure you have basic hand tools such as screwdrivers, pliers, wire cutters being a big one because you're working on wire. A box knife also helps. And last but not least, and this is probably the most important that a lot of people may not have, is a hole saw. This is a 4 1/8 of an inch hole saw. The box I'm installing is a 4-inch round box, which is standard for most electrical boxes here in America. So you want to go a little bit bigger, and that's going to make that hole so that box can slide right into for the light. Now that you know what we need, let's install them. First step in this project is make sure you take everything out of the box and make sure that it's in good working order. I got the floodlight here, and I need to attach this cover to it, which is really easy to do. Unscrew this nut right here. Slide the nut off. Fish the wire through the hole on the plate. This is going to screw in as well. Take the wire nut again, slide it back through on the wire, and screw it back down. Now you don't want to tighten it up too much right now because you're going to need to adjust the light left and right once you get it mounted. So don't tighten it, just set it all in place. Also, make sure you have this black foam gasket and the 2 screws that come provided with this white cover. So most likely you've already picked out where you want your floodlight. I like to mount them under the soffits because it's easy access, especially in an attic area. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unscrew the security camera I already have installed and figure out where there's a beam where I can mount that box. All right, so the security camera's down and out of the way right now. There's a piece of wood right here about 1 inch in, right flush with this trim basically. So I'm gonna cut a hole and put the light right here, and I'm gonna move the security camera over here. So let me get my hole saw and cut the hole bigger. So I know where I want to go, and that's right here. All right, so we had a little mishap with the hole. It kind of blew out on the side here. We'll fix that up here later when we get the light starting to get mounted. Right now though, I need to put a 1/2 inch piece of wood in here to fur out the box a bit. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so I got that wood fur stripping in there. I'm gonna slide the box in and make sure it fits fine. Box is looking good. So we don't want to mount the box yet because we need to get the wire here first. So we're just going to push the box off to the side, and we're going to go cut the other hole for the other side. All right, so we want to match the other side. So I'm going to measure off this board right here and this board right here. So it's the same exact location as the other side. Go get the hole saw and drill the hole. All right, holes drilled. Let's test the box out. Box is good. Same thing. Got to put another first strip here, so I'm gonna do that. First strip's in. Slide the box in. And the box fits good. All right, so we're back in the garage. This is where I want to get my power from. It's an outlet for my extension cord in the ceiling. It's a 20 amp circuit, so I need to make sure I use 12 gauge wire. I'm gonna plug in this outlet tester. Unplug that first, plug this in, it's still got power. Now I'm gonna go hit the breaker. I forgot it's on a GFI, so I just tripped it with the internal tripper / tester on this. So the power is now officially off. Now I'm gonna work on it. Now we need to take this receptacle apart so we can get power from it. The receptacle's out, now I gotta get my wire up here and fish it through. The wire's pushed through, so now we're gonna start hooking it up. Remove that coating from your wire. They make these cool strippers. I'll link it in the description down below that make it so that you don't cut your wire, that you just cut that outside sheathing. And they're like a couple dollars, I think. Get about 6 inches of wire out of the box. Save this ground right here. You're gonna need it. It is the one thing, there's only one ground on an outlet. When it comes to pigtailing, I'm just gonna cut that little loop I've already had. Take your wire nut, take both your wires, push them even. Now you need to take this pigtail wire, as I call it, fold it over, put all 3 wires together right here, and screw that wire nut on. I like to take some lineman's pliers and cinch this down just a hair more so that the wires twist a bit together. Push that ground up in there, put that hook on the ground. While I'm doing it, I'm gonna strip and put the hook on my neutral and hot. With 20 gauge wire, it's a little harder to form that wire, so I'll use needle noses and kind of compress it together, that little hook I made. Don't forget your tools where you leave them, because I guarantee you I'll probably forget I left that up there. And when you're hooking up an outlet, the silver lug goes to the white wire and the brass lug or gold looking lug goes to the black wire. I always like to cinch down everything with a flat head. Make sure that it's torqued down good. All right, that's all back. Now we got to work on the wire up in the attic. All right, so we're up in the attic now. We got our wire right over here, dangling, ready to go. We're gonna secure this to some wood, and we're gonna put the switch box right below this switch right here. Just gonna use regular wire staples right now. So we're gonna take some up. I'm gonna put the switch box about right here, right below this one. So we're gonna do a little bit of excess wire, and we're gonna cut it. And I also have my whole wire roll on a spool down there. We'll stick that up right there so it stays. All right, we're gonna take our box and we're gonna poke 2 holes in it before we mount it on the bottom. That right here, and we're gonna hammer this one in. We're gonna fish this wire through. And we want to make sure we secure this wire down below here as well. We got the power wire through now, so now we need to run our other wire to the other lights, which I'm going to basically make the connections in here so that I only have 1 wire running to that side of the garage and 1 wire running to that side of the garage, so I don't need to make a splice in one of the boxes. I'm going to feed it through the joists, and it's just gonna sit in the V of these joists. All right, so my hole is down there, so I'm gonna see if I can get the wire over there to where I don't need to snake it at all. So I got the wire right by the hole. I'm gonna pull some excess and staple it here so it's nice and secure, and then I'm gonna do the other side. One side down. So here's the other end of that wire I just ran to the first light. So again, we're gonna kind of leave some excess here, and we're gonna make the cut. Cut's made. I'm gonna send the first wire through the box. Now I need to fish it down the other way, and we'll make all the connections in here. All right, same thing here. I'm gonna fish it down to the other end and leave some excess so I can just stick my hand up in the hole when I'm outside and pull it through. Sometimes you gotta form the wire a little bit so it stays pretty straight. All right, I got my excess pulled. We're gonna staple here. Wire stapled. Again, it's just gonna sit in this channel here. Now we need to hook it back up in the box. Same thing here, we got this wire. Leave some extra and make your cut. Do a little bit of stapling now. All right, so now we have 2 wires in here for both our lights and 1 wire for power, so now we're gonna hook them all up. Remember, we have the smart switch we need to install, so it's a little different than a regular switch. So to set this all up, we wanna cut all our wires the same length, which again is about 6 inches out of the box. Save this excess wire, it makes good pigtails. Use this handy dandy wire cutter to strip that wire, that insulation back on the wire. Remember, we got our power on the right and our lights on the left. So now with this TP-Link switch, we actually have 2 wires that come out the back. So all the neutrals can get tied to here and all the grounds can get tied to here. The other nice thing with this is you have your line, which is where the power goes, and then your load, which is where the lights will go or anything getting power. They do provide smaller wire nuts, but I'm gonna get the bigger ones because I got more wire I need to put together. So when it comes to wiring, I always like to start with the grounds first, and all the grounds will get tied together. What you can do now is you can take a pair of linemans and twist them together a bit so that they kind of all have contact with each other right now. And then when you tie in the switch, it'll be a little more secure in place. Again, green is for ground. Take the linemans, give it a couple twists just to snug it up. Same thing here, all your neutrals are gonna get tied together. When stripping the wire, you wanna do roughly 1/2 inch of insulation off. Take your wire nut and your other wire on the switch, stick it on. Once those are nice and secure, time to take your black wires and start hooking those up. Again, strip the insulation back. So we want to make sure we're hooking them up to the right side. So we're looking here, we know this is the power, so that needs to go to the line. Unscrew the line side. These connectors right here just work off of compression. So you slide the wire under like so, and you cinch it down with a screwdriver. Nice and snug. We're going to do the same to this side. This is the load side, which means we need to put our 2 lights to this side. We are a little long here, so we're going to cut just a hair off. You don't want too much hanging out. Same thing here, screw it down. So right now you got a lot of wires you got to push in. So you just kind of finesse it in. It's kind of hard and difficult, especially with 12 gauge wire, but it can be done. So we did some finessing. The switch is ready. They also provide you with the screws to screw the switch into the box. I like to start one screw and slide the other screw on and then start that. This switch is nice and secure. I'm going to take this little cover off. It does come with a clip-on plate. I'm not a really big fan of these, so I'm just going to go get a screw-on plate and put that on. Again, this is a smart switch, so the nice thing is I can control this from anywhere. And if you've seen a previous video of mine of the Tapo smart button, that makes it really nice because you actually have a button that's wireless that connects to this that you can push, and you don't need to worry about getting your phone out or anything like that. That's all we need to do up here for now. Now, let's hook up the lights. We're back outside, now we're gonna get the wire. All right, so I got the wire right here, and that's the perfect amount. I'm gonna make our hole in the box, fish the wire through. And stick the box up. Screw it in now. Same thing here, about 6 inches of wire. And you're just using wire nuts to secure this, so about 1/2 inch of wire off the neutral and the hot. Now let's get the light and hook it up. Same thing here, we're gonna hook the ground up first. Then we're gonna do our neutral, and lastly the hot. All right, everything's all hooked up. This also can switch between 3000K, 4000, and 5000K. So that's why I have this cover open, and that's how you select it with the button on the back. This is the difficult part right here, trying to fish everything through. One side, and we're gonna do the other side. Again, make sure you have the gasket on, because if you don't, you're gonna be mad and take it all apart. All right, that's nice and secure. While we're up here, we're gonna adjust this light and just face it down just a hair. Number one's done, let's go install the other one. Got a little hole right here, so I'm gonna take some white silicone caulk and fill that in. All right, so that one's all installed. Now we just need to turn the power on and set the switch up and see if they work. All right, so the power's back on. So first and foremost, I want to test this out here and make sure that everything's wired correctly. 2 lights on the orange, so we're wired correctly. Plug anything back in that was plugged in. Now let's go set the switch up and test the lights. All right, guys, so as you can see behind me, the floodlights are on and working. I can control them from the app right here, turn them on and off, which I really love. I am gonna get one of those Tapu smart switches and put it right inside the garage there, so I'm gonna hit that button as well. So let's check these lights out at nighttime now. So it's dark out right now, and let's test these lights out. The tap of a button, boom, they turn on and you can see everything. As you can see, the lights shining behind me, it lights a ton up, almost my whole driveway up. These lights are super nice. I'm really glad I installed them. It's gonna help me out at night when I'm working at night. If I ever need to plow snow or do leaf removal at night, these are gonna be a lifesaver. With that being said, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.